I'm Andrew Dimbert. We have a lot to get to, but we begin with some breaking news. President Trump posting on social media moments ago, he's slapping tariffs on NATO allies who are opposed to his plan to acquire Greenland. This as protesters take to the streets of Nuke, Greenland. Demonstrators there participating in a Stop Trump march this afternoon as the White House moves forward with its pressure campaign to try and take control of the island. ABC's senior White House correspondent Selena Wang joins me now live for more on this. Selena, what do we know about these new tariffs, and what else did the president say in this post?
Yeah, Andrew, so the president making this announcement on social media just moments ago, announcing that the U.S. is going to impose tariffs on these European countries that have rallied to the support of Denmark and Greenland over President Trump's escalating attempts to take control of the Arctic territory. The president saying in his post that these tariffs will go into effect on February 1st and that he'll raise these tariffs to 25% in June unless, quote, a deal is reached for the complete and total purchase of Greenland. Now, this applies to Denmark, Norway, Sweden, France, Germany, the UK, the Netherlands, and Finland. Now, these are top allies of the United States. They are part of the NATO alliance. Remember, Greenland is a territory that has long been controlled by Denmark, which is our NATO ally. These countries also have sent a group of troops to Denmark, again, to Greenland in support for Denmark and Greenland. Now, President Trump has been ramping up his rhetoric around trying to take control of Greenland for several weeks now, and the president has refused to rule out the use of force, though the president is saying in this post that the attempt here is to acquire Greenland. But both Denmark and Greenland have made it very, very clear that Greenland does not want to be under U.S. control and that the territory is not for sale. In the post, the president goes on to say that, quote, these countries who are playing this very dangerous game have put a level of risk in play that is not tenable or sustainable. He said that the U.S. is open to negotiations with Denmark. But important to note here, it's unclear what kind of authority the president is using to impose these tariffs.
And there's also a group of senators in Greenland right now. What are they trying to achieve?
Yeah, there's a group of bipartisan senators in in Denmark right now, having conversations with both Denmark and Greenland officials. I was just speaking to a senator who is currently in Denmark, and quite frankly, he says, our allies are rattled. They're deeply concerned about what the president has been saying in the future of this relationship, of this alliance. Now, it's clear here that these senators are trying to lower and cool the temperature as the president has really been ramping up his threats. They want to try and reassure our allies that the U.S., not everybody in the U.S. is on board. In fact, polls show that the vast majority of Americans from both parties do not agree with the idea of taking control of Greenland.
So with that, why is the president so insistent on trying to acquire Greenland in the first place?
Yeah, so President Trump repeatedly says, including in this post, that the U.S. must acquire Greenland for national security purposes. He frequently cites how there are Russian and Chinese ships near Greenland and that those two countries could take over the Arctic territory. Now, when you talk to Arctic experts and the senators who are in the region, they say that is just patently false, that those countries do not pose an imminent threat, and that, in fact, the Chinese and Russian ships are in the Bering Strait, which is actually closer to Alaska. So they say that the president's claims are unfounded. They say, of course, there is a national security interest in Greenland for the United States, which is why the U.S. already has a base there, saying that the concerns from America about national security related to the Arctic territory is already covered by the military assets we already have there.
More to come on these new tariffs. Selena Wang for now. Thank you.